Welcome back to the Barca Breakdown podcast. My name is Yusuf, and I am here with my co-host Adam.
Whoa, Yus. Rough one today. 0-0 draw against Atletico Madrid. As we've been talking about for the past, week and a half since the Granada loss, really. This was the game we had to win. Even though, with the win, we would still need Real Madrid to drop points and get a loss. This is a rough match to stomach, and we'll break it down a little bit. But, going into the match, we were 2 points behind Atletico, tied with Real Madrid, even though Real Madrid had the head-to-head. And we really need to come out and show a strong showing. We thought this was Koeman's game where he has to really, come out and get that big victory of the season because, like we said, 0 wins against Atletico or Real Madrid in a season is tough to go in, right? Yeah. So let's go into the lineup. It was pretty similar to what we predicted, really. We had a 3-5-2 with Lenglet, Piqué, and Mingueza in the back line. Then we had Dest, Pedri, Busquets, Frankie De Jong, Jordi Alba. And then up front, we had Messi and Griezmann. So, looking at that lineup, I really wanted to see Dembele. I thought that, this Atletico team was going for a win because they have some hopes to win the title, right? Sure. And right now, I think they're the favorites because of, Real Madrid's running. And so I was hoping to see Dembele in there because I thought, Atletico weren't just going to sit back. They were going to try and take it to us like they did in that first half. So for me, not seeing Dembele was a pretty big bust. However, there were a lot of reports this week that Koeman might start Sergio Roberto instead of Dest, and I think Koeman got it right with Sergio Roberto in that lineup.
For once.
Overall, what did you think?
I think that lineup was what I had said on the pre-match pod. I said that Griezmann was going to start. I didn't think that Dembele was going to come in at the beginning. I thought he was a sub, which did happen. I thought Griezmann should have been the one to take this game away. I really thought that, coming against his former team,
he would come in with a fight and some hunger.
Yeah, not only that, but Suarez was on the opposite end that we didn't see him in the first leg. So I thought this is the time, show that now that Suarez has switched to his former team and Griezmann is on Barcelona, come out, show what he's worth, literally financially,
sure,
and maybe score a goal against his former team, which he hasn't done, and I was really hoping to see. Other than that, though, the typical lineup, to be honest, I figured, Lenglet, Piqué, Mingueza have been a staple of the previous games, and then I like you said, I'm thankful that Sergio Roberto did not start this game. Dest came out.
Looked good. Right. I was, I think it was wishful thinking on my part that Dembouz would get a call-up, even though, he proved to be a good sub. I thought he should have started, and I think throughout the first half we were saying Dembele would have been a good impact on this team. So I think that might have been the one change I would have wanted. Although, as we go into that first half, right, and we talk about, this was the classic tale of two halves game, where Atletico Madrid really seemed to take it to us in the first half much more than we did. And, actually the weakest link of that first half, I think there was one weak link, and I think there were two players who went a little bit silent, right? I think the weak link was surprisingly Mingueza,
100%.
Right? He didn't seem up for the game. He seemed to be getting beat on the side and, mistakes, vulnerable, not in the right position, and that was pretty surprising. We have always been saying that Araujo doesn't really fit into this back three. However, in the second half, he came in for Mingueza, and I think that was a great change at halftime by Koeman. And then in terms of invisible, unfortunately, Pedri didn't put on a huge showing, and he had some good ability to help us retain the ball, but I was hoping to see more from him in that first half. He just seemed quiet, and then like you said, Griezmann in this big game where I thought he would be able to show that this is why we got him. He came to Barcelona to win La Liga more. He came to eventually, we'll see, hopefully win the Champions League. And he was flat. He was nowhere to be found. I mean, part of it you must give credit, right? And I think that's one thing all Barca fans have to take a step back, who are like railing at Koeman and the team for not winning today, is like, hey, you need to be mad that we lost to Granada, right? Atletico
100%.
Madrid are the league leaders. Even though they've had a shaky second half of the season, they're a really good team. And so, drawing against Atletico Madrid, regardless of the situation in the league, is usually, not the result we want, not a great result, but, that is something we can live with. It's really the other points we lost that, are going to cost us. So what other thoughts did you have on the first half? I mean, I think the one thing we haven't spoken about is Busquets got hit in the head, right, on a header. I think he got hit in the head by Carrasco, right, on a 50-50 ball, and unfortunately he seemed to almost break his nose, or at least bleed from his nose, and he tried to come back, but unfortunately had to be taken out and substituted by Moriba. So what did you think about the first half and the fact that we put in Moriba for Busquets.
Well, two big things. One is that I think the first half, like you're saying, too many mistakes, too susceptible, quiet people, not the best thing to have during some of these big games, right?
Mm-hmm.
But the other thing is our midfield seemed really quiet. It didn't seem like we were moving the ball around enough. We weren't having a lot of control. There were times where we snuffed out some things, but it didn't seem to create any forward movement, right? And control on the pitch.
Sure.
The other thing...
Well, that was really quick. That was the big thing we said. In the first half, we noticed a lot of, whenever we were attacking, it was Alba and Dest, and then it was Messi.
Sure.
And, sometimes Griezmann. There wasn't a lot of, good offensive use of the midfield. It felt
100%.
like in that first half, the midfield went kind of silent.
Yeah. The other thing about what you were asking me, the Mariba coming in, we didn't really have too many choices.
Yes.
The other one was Pjanic, right? We haven't seen Pjanic in so long. Is that the person we want to come out in such a big game that hasn't been playing, hasn't had time, hasn't really shown that? I don't know. There's got to be a reason Koeman's not playing him, right?
Sure.
Is it?
And he hasn't been good, right?
Yeah, but is he not performing in practice? Is he not showing that he should be a starter, right? We got him, and how much have we used him? We've talked about this in the past, long ago, in the last 2 years of having this podcast. These players that we get, we spend a lot of money on, we just don't utilize. Or we don't use them appropriately, or whatever the case may be.
Well, I think that goes into a bigger talk about, how much of it is Bartomeu's board making these decisions that didn't really have any, rational, basis behind them. How, did Koeman really have that much insight into who we got? In terms of Pjanic? I don't know. The other thing which we have to address, because I know there's a lot of fans of ours who watch, a lot of fans all over the internet who love Riqui Puig.
Mm-hmm.
Yus and I are not as sold on Riqui Puig as a lot of the fans are, right? I mean, Riqui Puig has come into some games that didn't have a lot of importance, and he's put in more good shifts this year than last year, and so I do understand why there's a little bit of anger at Koeman for not giving him more chances. But we got to analyze this game for itself, right? Sure, if you want to ask why Riqui Puig hasn't played enough in the last 3 months, totally valid question, and I think that's one you have to ask. But in this situation, I mean, Mariba has been that fourth choice for the last, for all of 2021.
Sure.
And so would it really have made sense to put in Riqui Puig, who hasn't played many minutes in the biggest game of the season? I mean, of course, we only have
But
4
imagine
left.
if he came in and just didn't do well at all, and then people are going to be on Koeman's head, right? And be like, why did he make that decision? Blah, 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 blah. It's one of those things where you either do and it goes bad, and then you get hated for it, or you do it goes well, and then you get praised for it. It's never really in between, to be honest.
Sure.
Especially with a player that's not been playing, and you don't really know how he's going to fare in a huge game like this.
Yeah, I mean, some people will point to the fact that Puig played against Atletico last year and had a pretty good performance, and so I understand the hesitancy, but I think like in this moment when he hasn't played enough, it's hard to put him in. I mean, I get the rationale, right? Hindsight is 2020. Mariba played pretty bad, right? There were some passes he just hit out of bounds. There were some 1-2s where he... Oh, my
God. Yeah. Dude, I remember the one where he kicked it straight out of bounds.
There were some 1-2s he messed up. He's a young kid, too, so I'm not trying to, rag on him. I mean, he's been put into a position. Pedri, too, right? We put in some young players into positions that are really hard for them to deal with, and it goes back to your original point, which is like at the beginning of the season, with this team and this much youth, we're happy we are where we are. Of course, because we're so close to that title, we're all analyzing things a lot more heavily than
hungry.
Yeah, we would. Normally we would be thinking of this as a rebuild and be, happy that these players came in and put in good shifts. But of course, the title's there, and so we have to be a little bit more scrutinous of the team. Mariba didn't seem like a good fit as we go into halftime. Right, we needed to change something, and I think the first obvious change that we could have made was what Koeman did, and it worked out well. He switched out Mingueza for Araujo, and that turned out really good. Araujo had a great shift. He had a goal that got called offside that actually went in, and that could have won us the game. So like we keep saying, he's so threatening on set pieces, and for this game he really showed up in a 3-5-2. In that back three, I was really impressed by how he went. However, I just we talk about how we're Koeman fans. The subs were just too late. I thought that first half was screaming for us to put in Dembele, and it just took so long for us to even do it. It was frustrating to me. What did you think about the second half and the subs?
100%. Mingueza should have made too many mistakes. I'm glad Koeman saw that. I'm glad he switched Araujo on. Araujo looked really good defensively and offensively. He is somebody that I've,
Well, we love him.
Yeah, we like him a lot. He's very good for what he's the time he's been putting in. I think he's exceeded what I expected, and slowly but surely, I think he's going to become one of those staples, especially Piqué getting older. He's someone that can fit into that slot and, be our backline
just
bolster.
stalwart.
Yeah. But other than that, I think we had some good chances, really good chances in the second half. It was a whole 180 from the first half.
Yeah.
We seemed to be attacking. We had Messi making some wonderful dribbles, which he got 2 yellow cards for, on the defense, which, could have turned into something great, but it was just one of those things where Messi seemed to be the one creating at that point.
Well, he had to create and finish, which was tough, right?
Yeah.
Just before actually the first half ended, he had that amazing run, almost scored a goal.
Yeah.
And then in the second half as well, Messi looked dangerous. However, overall, I just thought that even though we attacked more and it looked like we were more thirsty for a goal in that second half, it just seemed like the team really didn't have that killer fight in it. You think about some of these games like against Real Sociedad or Villarreal or in the Copa when we had to come back so many times, and it seemed like everyone had this belief and they had this desire to win that just hasn't seemed to have been there for the last two to 3 games.
Well, I think it's really hard for someone like Messi when he's playing these big games and it starts to become more reliant on him. Mm-hmm. Let's not forget, Atletico Madrid has a great defensive power outage, essentially, or power output, excuse me. They had a huge back line. Every time Messi got that ball near the box, there's 5 guys.
Yeah, all around him.
There's not enough room to work with. Griezmann wasn't pulling off defenders. Griezmann wasn't creating space for Messi. He wasn't doing a lot of 1-2s or anything like that. Not opening up space for somebody like Messi who, even when he's making these wonderful dribbles, you can only do so much. Other than that, though, we had Dembele come in around the 70th minute.
Too late, Yus.
It is too late.
It was too late. I think we're all thinking it, man.
I know, but I wanted to say that he did come on and he looked fast. He looked good. I think he made some great decisions on the pitch. He had that header that was somewhat close. It was a hard ball to get.
It was high, but he should have put it in. But what do you think? Again, though, right? So we said Araujo and Dembele were good subs.
Mm-hmm.
So Sergio Roberto putting in there. I mean, what did Sergi add? Why did we take off Dest? Like, there's been some rumors that Dest has had some injury issues himself, but he looked so good. He looked fast. He looked quick. He was at least threatening offensively.
That brings me to the point. I just remembered that. Let's not forget, Boosie got subbed out from Mariba, and that forced Frankie to drop back. Frankie has been a pretty good offensive card these last 10 games, and I think you posted on Twitter about Frankie being like, I hope Frankie comes out or he's going to come out.
Of course.
I think, unfortunately, he got dropped back to the Busquets position to facilitate a little bit more while Mariba kind of moved forward. That kind of took away a little offensive courage.
Sure. I did think, though, that when Sergi came on, it actually kind of opened up Frankie to push forward a little bit more, and that's when I think, in that 70 to the 90th minute, I thought we saw some offensive opportunities. I mean, listen, we're pretty down because we drew the game, and we thought we had a chance there in that second half. The second half wasn't a bad performance, man. Like a few things bounce our ways, and, we score at least one, and we walk away pretty happy. Unfortunately, the chips didn't fall our way.
Let's not forget. We've been talking a little bit of smack on Ter Stegen, and I don't don't think incorrectly. But today he came out and he was making some pretty good saves. He's making good decisions. Some of those shots were really hard that he came against in the first half. I'm happy that he was able to come out, make some great saves, and kind of snub us a little bit.
Sure.
And I want that to happen.
He did. At the same time, though, some of his distribution is like really bad. Just 100%. Kicking balls out of bounds, kicking balls straight to Atletico defenders. So
it's not a forward-moving passing. It just kind of like get it out of where it is.
Yeah, it's a lot of just urgency and trying to dump the ball. But that's the thing about Ter Stegen, and when we criticize him is that we just know how good he can be, and so this dip in form I think we've seen lately. Just maybe we have too high of expectations, but he's kind of set the bar there himself, and so we really just want him to be that great player we know he can be in shot stopping and in distribution. And so hopefully this summer he gets some time to practice and get better.
I mean, overall, I think the second half was way better than the first. I think that it was not the best result, but there's not much we can do here, right? This game has shown that this season is kind of ending up out of our hands. We pretty much just have to make sure we win our next 3 games.
Well, 100% to have any shot.
Exactly.
And we got to pray, guys. I don't like Sevilla. Actually, of La Liga teams, I don't mind Sevilla that much. But, hey, we have to pray. They play Real Madrid tomorrow, right? And, if we look at the coming games and we look at kind of who has what left, I would say we have the easiest schedule. We have Levante away, Celta Vigo at home, and then we play Eibar away for the last game.
Those should be secured.
Should be, but with this team, you don't know. Real Madrid plays Sevilla, right, tomorrow at home. They play Granada away. We lost to Granada, right? They play Athletic Bilbao, and they play Villarreal. And those are 4, pretty tough teams to play. So Real Madrid have the hardest. Atletico Madrid, we really have to hope they lose against La Real. It's going to be in Madrid, so they're at home against Real Sociedad, and then they finish up with Osasuna and Valladolid. So, we're really praying. It's not the spot you want to be in, Yus. No. We're praying that Real Madrid lose to Sevilla tomorrow, and then Atletico drops to Real Sociedad, and we win all of them. When you look at games remaining and your chance to win a title, the more ands there are is a bad thing. And we got, I think, 3 of those in there.
Decreasing the probability of any actual success, with holding up the trophy here.
For sure. I mean, hey, we can be upset about it and, be all sulky, but we did that enough after the Clásico. And, we had our chance against Granada and we didn't take it.
Sure.
And so, going into this game, right, the big thing we talked about in our last YouTube video. By the way, if you guys can hit that subscribe button, we're on the path to 100 subscribers. So
be the first 100. You guys won't regret it.
Yeah. We had a Talk FCB, our Barca breakdown weekly video. That one got a lot of views, and so we're hoping to get our average up here, guys. So if you could hit the subscribe button, put on notifications. We're trying to get to 100 subscribers before the end of the season. Now, before the game, we came in and we said, hey, this is going to be a Koeman versus Simeone match, maybe to keep their jobs for whoever wins, right? We got to draw. They got to draw. Atletico, I would say, are right now the favorites to win the league just because of how hard Real Madrid's run-in is. Koeman, right? We've lost against Juventus, right? 3-0. We lost against PSG 4-1. Then we drew them 1-1. We lost twice to Real Madrid. We lost against Atletico for the first game, and we just drew them. Pretty bad performance in these big games, again, with the caveat that that's not including Villarreal or Real Sociedad or the Copa game against Sevilla and the Liga game against Sevilla, all in the last 3 months. How do you stand on Koeman, Yus? That's what everyone's talking about. What's your thought?
I think he was given a hard hand to deal with at the beginning of the season. He was coming into some corruption with Bartomeu.
Sure.
He was also coming into a team that just seemed to be down and out. Messi at the time was like, I may be leaving, right? That was a huge blow up. Do I think that we won't see him again, or that he's, dwindling off that the opportunity to stay as Barcelona's coach? No. I think he is also someone who can adapt. I think we've seen that slowly but surely. He's making better decisions. He's learning the team a little bit more. I think.
I don't know, Yus, man.
Listen,
I'm pro Koeman, and I think we should give him another year just for what he means for the club and the fact that we won the Copa del Rey and we have a chance at La Liga. But is he adaptable? Is he versatile? Because in all these big games, I feel like we just play the same lineup, and then I feel like a lot of times the subs are preordained, right? Okay, we start with Frankie, Pedri, Busquets. We're gonna put in Elish. Okay, Messi and Griezmann are up front. We're not scoring. Let's put in Dembele.
Sure.
Okay, Mingueza's not doing well. Let's put in Araujo. It just seems like between Araujo, Mingueza, Sergio Roberto, and Elish. No, it seems like it doesn't matter who else we have. We're gonna play those 3. Yeah. So I have some bones to pick with you, Yus, about the idea that Koeman is versatile. Now the thing is, as some of our commenters have been saying, what other coaches are out there besides Xavi? Right, looks like Xavi's going to sign another year or 2 into his Al-Sadd team in Qatar, so I don't think that's going to happen this summer. And then in terms of other coaches around Europe, right, Mourinho was available. He just got signed to Roma. Pochettino is at PSG. It's not like he's a free agent like he might have been last summer. And he's an Espanyol guy, so I don't think we want him anyways. And so there's not a lot of good coaches out there, right? Who would you go for to buy out besides Klopp and Guardiola? And Pep obviously just made the Champions League final and has already been here, and I don't think he's going to come back for at least a few more years. Klopp probably wants a redemption season after this, injury-ridden season at Liverpool, and so there's not really anyone on the market, and I think we're gonna keep coming.
I'm looking at it like a percent change kind of situation, right? Let's say he has increased our win percentage from what we were at by 10% or something. Throw out a number there. I think the percent change is what's more important than the, currently this season. I still think that we have a whole nother season for him to come out and make that decision. I think we don't have enough data points for like a cumulative assumption of whether or not he's really, really changing. I think you are right. You have a point. It does seem like same lineups come out. It does seem like, we can predict what's going to happen.
Which is, dude,
I know,
the same thing we would hate Valverde on all the
that
time,
is true.
Right?
But Valverde had a much longer reign than Koeman has had yet.
Sure.
And
he kept doing it.
And I didn't like that Valverde was kind of that guy who seemed to not the Valverde squat. Yeah, he seemed like that he was looking at games like, oh, we just need to like hold the line, and just like hold possession for possession's sake. While Koeman, there is that sense of that, but I don't think it's as I mean,
the hard thing to really, final point, I think, is like the hard thing to figure out is why was this team on such a roll between that first PSG game and the international break, and then how did it all come undone?
We've said this a million times. These international breaks somehow always.
But dude, these players get paid too much money and they're too good for that to really be it. I think when we go back and look at the season, we're going to look at so many lost opportunities. Granada, obviously, that first PSG game. I think PSG is not as good as everyone thought they were. If we had Ansu Fati, even Coutinho was looking decent at the beginning of the season, right? If we had everyone healthy, I think this season could have been different. But unfortunately, it is what it is, guys. We're happy. We won one title. We have a really long shot at La Liga, and we got a lot of international football this summer. We're going to see Messi play for Argentina very soon. We're going to see Dembele in the Euros. We're going to see Frankie De Jong. We're going to see Pedri playing, and so we have a lot of exciting things coming up. Thank you guys so much for watching. Happy birthday to me.
Happy birthday, Adam. Everybody comment happy birthday and subscribe for him. That's his birthday wish.
Thank you. Have a nice day. Bye-bye.